Welcome to Calcutta Races Summer Meeting, 3rd day, Saturday, 9th March 2019 race preview. We go on to the first race, which is the Commuter Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. 4 horses in class 5. Number 1 will be Optimum. Optimum's last outing was the season in race number 123 over 1200 meters, where Optimum finished 12th right at the back end of the field, and the eventual winner of that race was Bang Bang, who won it by a length and a quarter. Number 2 will be Shania's Pet. Shania's Pet's last outing was in race number 122 over 1100 meters, where Shania's Pet finished on 8th. Also in the same race we had number 4 Ayana, who came up with a late dash and finished on 4th. Also in the same race we had number 11 Dream Express, who finished on 7th, but the eventual winner of that race was Archived. Number 3 will be Amaranthus. Amaranthus has had one start the season in race number 33 over 1100 meters, where Amaranthus travelled second till it turned for home and eventually faded away and finished right at the back end to finish on 13th, and the eventual winner was Bitstone Hill. Number 5 will be Super Chic. Super Chic's last outing was in race number 136 over 1200 meters, where Super Chic finished on 10th after no show at all. Also in the same race we had number 7 Casablanca, who was second till it turned for home and then eventually faded away and finished on 4th. Also in the same race we had number 8 Indus Prince, who finished one behind to finish on 5th. Number 10 Jorel, who finished on 12th, and number 13 Ascend, who finished on 6th. The winner of that race was Dancing Prince. Number 6 will be Rolly Polly. Rolly Polly's had 3 starts this season, last one being in race number 99 over 1200 meters, where Rolly Polly, after much efforts, finished on 6th, and the winner of that race was Major Colors, who won it by 1 length. Number 9 will be Shivai. Shivai's last outing was in race number 51 over 1100 meters, where Shivai turned into the home straight travelling 8th and then eventually faded away and finished on 10th on the outer side of the winter track, and the winner of that race was White Walker. Number 12 will be Madame Ricamia. Madame Ricamia's had 2 starts this season, one in race number 31 and race number 73, and both its outings it's finished 13th, and the last one, the winner of that race was Singapore Sling, who won it by 3/4 of a length. Number 14 will be Curtis. Curtis's last outing was in race number 137 over 1200 meters, where Curtis finished on 11th after much efforts, and the winner of that race was Mrs. Willy-Nilly, who won it by a head. We move on to the second race, which is the Udubon Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. Number 1 will be Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly's last outing was in race number 140 this season over 1200 meters, where Buddy Holly finished on 11th. Also in the same race we had number 11, that is Dakshesh, who finished on 6th, and the eventual winner of that race was Mr. Fox, who won it by a length and a quarter. Number 2 will be Archived. Archivolt's last 2 outings have been impressive as it's come out and won both its last outings, last one being in race number 147 over 1100 meters, where Archivolt was lying 3rd till it turned for home, then took over the running and went on to win that race by a nose. Also in the same race we had number 7 Scarlet Emperor, who finished on 7th, and number 8 the 6 Seal, who came up with a late run and challenged the winner, that was Archivolt, and the 6 Seal finished a close second, just a nose behind. Also in the same race we had number 10 Midnight Magic, who finished on 10th. Number 3 will be Fireberg. Fireberg's last outing was in race number 128 over 1400 meters, where Fireberg travelled 9th till it turned for home, and then eventually travelled very wide of the track and finished on 12th, and the eventual winner of that race was Mustang. Number 4 will be Praise a Gaze. Praise a Gaze, his last outing was in race number 146 over 1100 meters, where Praise a Gaze finished on 7th, and the winner of that race was Romantic Lass, who won it impressively by about a long neck. Number 5 will be Utaka. Utaka's last outing was in race number 135 over 1100 meters, where Utaka, after some vigorous riding and a couple of reminders in the final stages, finished on 6th, and the eventual winner of that race was Badioli. Number 6 will be Kafira. Kafira's last outing was in race number 107 over 1200 meters, and that is its only start for Kafira. And Kafira was leading all the way till it turned for home, and the final stage of the race was overtaken and faded away to finish on 10th was Kafira. The winner of that race was Midnight Magic. Number 9 will be Bengal Tiger. Bengal Tiger's last outing was in race number 108 over 1200 meters, where Bengal Tiger finished on 5th after some vigorous riding, after much efforts, and the eventual winner of that race was Jezebel, who went on to win it by a length and a quarter. Number 12 will be Snowfields. Snowfields' last outing was in the monsoon meeting in race number 104 over 1200 meters, where Snowfields was travelling 2nd till it turned for home, then eventually faded away and finished on 7th, and the eventual winner of that race was Monaco. We move on to the third race, which is the Prince Regent Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. Number 1, we're looking at Flanker. Flanker number 39 this season over 1100 meters, where Flanker finished on 9th. Also in the same race, we had number 4 finished on 4th, and number 5 Aquitania, who finished on 6th. And the eventual winner was Stallone, who came up with a good run down in the centre and went on to win it by a length and a quarter. Number 2 will be Knighthood. Knighthood's last outing was in race number 71 over 1200 meters, where Knighthood finished on 7th, and I beg your pardon, finished on 9th was Knighthood, and the eventual winner of that race was Novikov, a runaway winner that day, won it by 5 lengths. Number 3 will be Dungle. Dungle's surely been knocking on the door for quite some time. Last outing being in race number 148 over 1200 meters, where Dungle led all the way till the distance post, and then eventually was faded away and overtaken, and Dungle finished on 6th, and the eventual winner was Enchanted. Number 6 will be Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa's had 2 starts and this season, and both its starts is finished 5th, last one being in race number 68 over 1600 meters, where the winner of that race was Razor Grand, won it by 3 1/4 lengths. Number 7 will be Stormfront. Stormfront's last outing was in race number 124 over 1600 meters, where Stormfront finished on 8th, and the winner of that race was Left, who won it by 2 1/4 lengths. Number 8 will be Leopard Creek. Leopard Creek's last outing was in race number 131 over 1200 meters, and Leopard Creek was travelling right at the back end of the field through the race. Eventually finished on 13th was Leopard Creek. Now that race is Arashi. Number 9 Devotion. Last outing was in race number 9 meters, where Devotion finished on 7th after much efforts, and the eventual winner of that race was Pellion, who won it by 2 1/2 lengths. Number 10, Bojangles. Bojangles, Legend at a moment of the day, has also been knocking on the door. Last outing in race number 130 over 14 meters. Bojangles had all the way to 150 meters away from home, but eventually overtaken and finished on fourth was Bojangles. The winner was Sanvi, won it by 2 3/4 lengths. Number 11 will be Celerino. Celerino's last outing was quite an impressive one, where it finished on far away third, actually. Number 12 will be Rustler. Rustler's last outing was and the winner of that meter. Years old, only be 1200 meters. Number 1, we're looking at Avebury. Last out, 9 or 11 meters. Avebury travelled third till it turned for home and in the final stages of the race, but then eventually finished on fourth was Avebury. Also in the same race, we are looking at Duke, who was travelling right at the back end of the field, and then eventually in the final stage came flying was Duke and finished an impressive second, 4 lengths behind the winner. That was Ruby Cube. Also in the same race, we had number 5 Alpharets, who finished on 5th, and number 6 Astoria, who finished on 3rd, and number 7 Al Mulana, who finished on 6th. Number 2 will be Botswana Star. Botswana Star's last outing was in race number 104 over 1200 meters, where Botswana Star finished on 9th, and the winner of that race was Aftershock, who won it by long neck. Number 4 will be Roxa. Roxa's last outing was in race number 119 over 1100 meters, where Roxa finished on 5th after some vigorous riding and after much efforts. But the eventual winner of that race was Night of Thunder. Number 9 will be Shivalik Sight. Shivalik Sight's last outing was in race number 82 over 1400 meters, where Shivalik Sight finished on 5th towards the inner rail, and the eventual winner was East Side.
We move on to the 5th race of the afternoon, which is the Eastern Air Command Cup. The first runner we are looking at is number 1, Kuda Gra, in race number 129, where Kuda Gra was leading the pack. However, in the last 200 meters, weakened to finish on 4th. And Kuda Gra, however, had won an earlier start in race number 141 over 1200 meters. Next up, we are looking at 2 runners here. Number 2, Farsight, and number 5, Furel, in race number 143. Farsight was racing in 5th spot as the horses turned for home, however weakened to finish on 9th. And in the same race we had number 5 Furel, who was racing in 7th spot, made some late progress, finished on 4th, and Furel was however a winner in race number 42 over 1600 meters earlier this season. Next we have number 3 Mustang. Mustang has already got 4 wins in this season. However, in race number 148, where Mustang was racing in 4th spot as the horses turned for home, Mustang weakened and finished on 8th. The winner here was Enchanted. Next we have number 4 Dancing Lord in race number 124. Dancing Lord was racing towards the end of the field as they turned for home, made some steady progress and finished on 4th. Dancing Lord had won on the first start in this season in race number 30 over 1600 meters. Next we are looking at number 6 Arjuna. Arjuna had a lung opener in race number 130. Then in race number 138, Arjuna went on a start to finish affair, and towards the last 200 meters absolutely drew away from the field and won that race in taking style by about 5 lengths. Next we have number 7 Rising from Ashes. Rising from Ashes had 2 starts in this season. In race number 118 was in 3rd spot as the horses turned for home, and fought for the lead in the last 200 meters. However, had to settle for 3rd spot in a nail-biting finish by nose and short net, and the winner here was Bidstone Hill. Lastly, we are looking at number 8, Bang Bang, in race number 123. Bang Bang, after running 4 times, and then in 5th start, Bang Bang finally came good. Raced towards the outside rail and came with a taking stride and won that race by about length and quarter. We move on to the 6th race of the afternoon, the Indian Air Force Cup. And firstly, we're looking at number 1, Admiral Hatsu, in race number 151. There's not much to say about Admiral Hatsu. Raced towards the end of the field and finished on 10th. And number 2, Rule Down Under, in the same race, was racing in 8th spot as the horses turned for home. Weakened to finish on 9th. Then we had number 3, Commodore, who was racing 9th and finished on 6th. And number 4, Dixie Diamond, was racing towards the front of bunch and then weakened to finish on 7th. The winner here was Sivesh. Next, we have 2 runners again. Number 6, Pugnacious, in race number 141, where Pugnacious was racing towards the end of the field and finished on 12th. And in the same race, we had Tiger of Mysore, who was slow to begin and then made some headway towards the outside and then finished on an eye-catching 4th. The winner here was Capricious.
We move on to the 7th race, which is the feature of the day, the Calcutta St. Leger 2019 Grade 3. 4 Indian horses, 4 years old only, to be run over a distance of 2,800 meters. The 5th and last classic of the season. Number 1 is Barbaresco. Barbaresco's had 1 start, which is in the Calcutta Derby in race number 96, over 2,400 meters, where Barbaresco was right at the back end of the field and then came up with a very late dash to finish an impressive second, 9 1/4 lengths behind the winner. That was too good that day. That was Adjudicate. And now Barbaresco running in the new colors of Mr. Vikram Bachawat. And in the same race, we had number 5, Ashna, who finished on 8th, and number 7, Oriana, who finished on 6th. Number 2 will be Darsh. Darsh's last outing was in race number 143 over 2,000 meters, where Darsh was leading all the way till about 150 meters away from home. Then eventually was overtaken, and the eventual winner was Dixie Diamond, who won it by 3 lengths, and Darsh faded away and finished on 5th. Number 3 will be Point to Prove. Point to Prove is the Bangalore Challenger, multi-dimensional out of Baruch. Last outing was in race number 129 over 2,000 meters, where Point to Prove led all the way. I beg your pardon, was lying second all the way, and then eventually took over the running and went on to win it by a neck, and Razor Grand finished on a close. Number 4 will be Shivansh. Shivansh's last outing was over the same distance in race number 134, and what a win that was by Shivansh. Led all the way and continued it from pillar to post and won it by 8 lengths by Shivansh, and Multi Glory managed to finish on 2nd, 8 lengths behind the winner. Number 6 will be Exception. Exception's last outing in Calcutta was in race number 63 over 2,400 meters in the Calcutta Oaks, where Exception came up with a late dash and finished second, just long neck behind the winner. That was Oriana. Then went on to Bombay to run the Oaks in Bombay and finished on 5th, where the winner of that race was Roberta. Now back in Calcutta as Exception. We move on to the 8th and last race, which is the Queen's Commuter Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1,400 meters. Number 1 will be Millennium Glory. Millennium Glory's last outing was in race number 124 over 1,600 meters, and Millennium Glory led all the way and then eventually faded away and finished on 5th, and the eventual winner of that race was Airlift, who won it by 2 3/4 lengths. Number 2 will be Prince of Heart. I beg your pardon, Uncrowned King. And Uncrowned King's last outing was in race number 138 over 1,600 meters, where Uncrowned King finished on 13th, right at the back end of the field after some vigorous riding. Also in the same race, we had number 5, Prince of Heart, who finished on 9th, and number 8, Abaralla, who finished on 8th. But the eventual winner was impressive. That is Arjuna. Number 3 will be Fabian. Fabian's last outing was in race number 131 over 1200 meters, where Fabian finished on 9th, and the winner of that race was Arashi, who came up with a good run towards the inner rail and went on to win it by a nose. Number 4 will be Monte Cassino. Monte Cassino's last outing was quite an eye-catcher in race number 147 over 1100 meters, where Monte Cassino finished on 5th after some vigorous riding. And also in the same race we had number 7, that is Lakshay, who finished on 4th, and number 14, that is Modification, who finished on 8th. The eventual winner was Archibald. Number 6 will be Phoenicia. Phoenicia's last outing was not impressive at all in race number 116 over 1600 meters, where Phoenicia finished detached last right at the back end of the field, and the eventual winner was Expensive Affair. Number 9 will be Glorious Run. Glorious Run's last outing was in race number 89 over 1400 meters, where Glorious Run was travelling 7th till it turned for home and then improved places and managed to finish on 3rd. And the eventual winner was Wonder Boy. Number 10 will be The Last Judgment. The Last Judgment's last outing was in race number 128 over 1400 meters, and The Last Judgment was quite unlucky that day. Finished on a close 3rd after a real fight out, and the eventual winner was Mustang. Number 11 will be Eastern Flame. Eastern Flame was quite unlucky in its last start in race number 136 over 1200 meters, where Eastern Flame caught onto the rail side and just fell short and finished on 2nd, 3/4 lengths behind the winner, that was Dancing Prince. Number 12 will be My Lady Luck. My Lady Luck's last outing was in race number 146 over 1100 meters, where My Lady Luck finished on 8th after much efforts, and the eventual winner there was Romantic Lass. Number 13 will be Fabiola. Fabiola's last outing was in race number 123 over 1200 meters, where Fabiola was travelling 4th till it turned for home and then eventually faded away and finished 2 places down. That is 6th of the field, and the eventual winner was Bang Bang. Thank you.